That's typically why I went to Vegas. I've been there about a half a dozen times, and it was always for some type of marketing conference. There's so many conference halls and spaces that it's a really great place to hold an event. You can use AI to transcribe it, but you can also use a human. So we'll use the human. We'll use the AI for the transcription, and then we'll use a human to verify that what was transcribed actually was what was said. I'm building my business around being the best version of myself and everything heroic. So my story is
So how's your day going? What's going on in your world, Dave?
I just finished up with the gym, which I do every day basically, and then I was working on my coaching program, which is for first responders. So that is the next phase of my career: coaching, speaking, and writing. The second book is done, and that will be out this month at some point. The Heroic Coaching Blueprint, and that is all about coaching first responders and teaching them the blueprint for creating their own coaching program themselves.
Oh, great. So they could anybody who's a first responder could check this book out and get started doing exactly what you're doing then.
Yeah, I in the intro to my podcast, I say I don't believe in competition, only collaboration. So I believe honestly I could create 100 clones of myself. They can be successful and I can continue to be successful because we all have our own separate stories. We all we all come from different backgrounds, and your story is the only thing that makes you unique.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that the need for coaching just keeps growing too. It's like more change happening faster in the world today.
Yes, yes, sir. I love AI. I love futuristic uh inventions, and I watch YouTube videos all the time about the next 10 years. I just like thinking about like what's coming.
Oh yeah, right. So are you embracing that in your coaching?
I do. I infuse AI into every aspect. I'm helping a retiree um from Maryland create his next and first book using AI as well. So we use a simple process of interview, similar to a podcast episode, but just a little bit longer of a process. So I'll interview him, and then we'll transcribe that. We'll get it edited, and we'll format it for a book. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about all of the AI advancements. ChatGPT 5, 6, 7 is just going to be otherworldly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. So how does that process work then? You use AI to transcribe the interview?
You can use AI to transcribe it, but you can also use a human. So we'll use the human. We'll use the AI for the transcription, and then we'll use a human to verify that what was transcribed actually was what was said, and then we'll use AI to edit it for formatting and syntax and grammar, and then we'll use a human to read it over and make sure that it actually is, you know, what the person is trying to convey, the author. And you do a bit of coaching yourself, right? Executive coaching?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I find it very useful myself, uh, especially to help with fleshing out frameworks for things. It's so much better than looking at a blank page. You know, you can ask it for an outline for what you're thinking about, and then you can write into the outline yourself, and it really helps with creating.
It helps tremendously. My girlfriend, she's a nurse, and she's going through school right now, and she's using it to just flesh out her ideas and not plagiarize. what's written, but she uses it to just get a baseline idea, and then she expands on that, and she creates from that. So it really has so many use cases. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it'll only expand as we get more access to the more public access, I guess, to some of the capability. Most people don't have much access to the image and video processing capabilities right now. There's some neat stuff that can happen, though, I think, really soon.
Yeah, it's unbelievable our ability to reach the entire world right now. You can pull out your cell phone and make a 3 minute recording and post it to any of the social sites, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and you can reach pretty much half of the world, at least 4 billion people.
Yeah. Yeah, and if not instantly, then it sits out there and collects views indefinitely if you want.
Yeah, it really is. It's a perpetual. That's why I love podcasting, because it's out there perpetually, and it just allows you to live on. So the goal is to not live forever, but create something that could live forever.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, right? I think that's kind of a common human desire to that legacy sort of yearning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you know your legacy? What it will be?
I would like to start some schools. I've always thought that would be neat. Um, so there's I have some different ideas about ways that that could happen, but I would like to, in one way or another, enable schools to be built and more schools to be available for people. I think it's really important.
I'm building my business around being the best version of myself, and everything heroic. So my story is when I was a kid, I wanted to be a hero to my family and to my mom. I was about 10 years old, 9 years old, and I witnessed a domestic violence incident with my mom. So I had to go climb out the one-story window of my bedroom and call 911. And the police came. They took away her boyfriend, and because I was too small to intervene, and you know that was my first experience with the police. And then I wanted to become a police officer after hearing a recruiter say, "You'll never know where you'll be, 2 3 years down the line, so fill out this little form to take the test." And he planted the seed. I filled out the form, and then when the test came up, that seed took sprout because we were expecting our first child. I was only 18, 19 when he was born. My high school sweetheart. We ended up getting married and having three more children. I did join the police department 27 years later. No longer with her. Now I'm with an incredible woman, a nurse. She's brilliant. She's finishing her master's now and continuing her education. But from an active, super active street cop, working the midnights and just driving around very, very wealthy neighborhoods, I would ask myself all the time, like, what do these people all do for a living? And after having some conversations with a lot of them, you find out that they own their own businesses, and that uh, they're definitely not cops working the overnight beat. So that set me on the path of trying to figure out what kind of business I could start. And at first, it was real estate. I thought I'd become a real estate investor. And I owned three homes at the age of 27, 30 years old. I owned a few homes. I sold two of them, kept the one I live in currently, and made lost on one, made a profit on the other. wrote a book at around 30 years old, The Pathway to Prosperity. And that book is a personal development book. That was my very first book. And I wrote that book the hard way. I sat down at my kitchen table and I wrote a page a day. Just I figured if I could write a page a day, I could complete an entire book. And after about 9 months, I had enough what I felt like was a solid book. I published that. I self published it through Amazon, and now I'm working on my second book about a decade later. It took me too long to spit out the second one, but I have a dream of becoming a serial author, a serial entrepreneur, multiple businesses, and speaking on stages about burnout and about becoming the best version of yourself. So about it's about where you are and it's about where you want to go and what mechanism are you going to use to get there, because there's a lot of different vehicles that you can use.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You sound like a guy who's been coaching for a while.
Yeah, I've been at this for a little while. Yeah. I I I also coach people physically with their PT. So I was coaching a lot of younger recruits. So not just business coaching, but also PT coaching and actually getting out there and running with people and doing push-ups and sit-ups and getting them mentally prepared. My strong suit is definitely the mental preparedness of getting yourself ready so you don't have to get ready, just staying ready all the time. So that's part of the reason why I train every day. I lift, do weights, I walk. I train pretty much my whole body now. I used to do the 3 day, uh, 3 days hard or 4 days hard, and then rest for a couple days, and then go back at it. Where you're just doing upper body one day, pull pull press, or they call it the bro splits. Have you heard that term?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, they call it the bro splits. So I used to train that way when I was younger. I was training for power, but now I train for overall endurance and just athleticism and just being healthy and fit. I'm just turned 48, approaching 50, so I'm no longer concerned with getting big. It's not like I'm out there in the field. I work in an office. I work from my home, so it's primarily just about staying healthy and keeping your body moving so that you can live a long, healthy life. So I do coach people on the mental side of staying ready and just being physically active. And I also coach people on their diet. So I started out at 26 years old as a life success coach. Now I'm more of a business strategist because everyone has an area where they're strong in. Some people it's business, some people it's mindset, others it's relationships, networking with people, or just love and marriage, and others it's health and fitness. But everyone has a lane. It's the same with the police department. So some people come in there and they want to be ticket writers, and other people just want to, shake hands and kiss babies. Other people want to go into schools and teach children. And I tell everyone that there's a lane. There's a lane for you, whatever type of officer you want to be. If you want to be an investigator, there's a lane. There's a lane for it.
A
That's
pet officer.
Yeah, yeah, you wanna be a canine. I have a cat who will not leave me alone when I'm sitting in his chair. He
Probably just trying when you're trying to have a podcast too,
I
huh?
gotta lock him upstairs. I gotta lock him upstairs because, otherwise he'll jump on the table, he'll claw at my leg, and, it's part of being a pet owner is part of who I am. I have 2 cats now, Butters and Reese's. Butters is the bushy one, and Reese's is the thinner one. They're brothers, and we've always had dogs. We had Ruby, who was a she was a boxer. greatest family dog we ever had. She lived for 12 years, and then we had Bentley, who was a French bulldog, and he lived for about 11 years. So that's 23 years of having dogs. 23 years of having family dogs, and I said to my girl, I need a little break from dogs, so we got cats, and they're a lot less work, but sometimes they could be a pain in the butt. You have any pets?
Yeah, I have a little Chihuahua Greyhound mix.
Oh yeah, they're a lot of work.
Yeah.
Does he go outside, or do you have someplace inside that he goes?
Well, I let him out on the leash, so it works fine.
Yeah. And do you have to? Does he go in the yard, or do you have to go
Yeah,
out and? Okay.
yeah. No, I take him on a couple walks a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does he
I'm
scratch?
like you though. I like to get up at like 4 in the morning. I built a gym in my basement, and so I like to work out every day. No, he mostly sleeps a lot.
Okay. All right. How old is he now?
He's about 7.
Okay. And what's their lifespan typically? Is it about 12, 14 years? 14. Yeah, the smaller dogs tend to live a little longer, except when they're a certain type of breed. The the larger dogs, they have shorter lifespans, but Frenchies and bulldogs in general have shorter lifespans just because they've been bred, so much. You're better off getting a dog from the kennel that is considered a mutt, per se, and just a cute dog.
Before this one, I had a rescue cat, a calico.
Oh, so you had a cat also.
Yeah, yeah.
Calicos are brown, orange. They're like all different colors.
Yeah, yeah. This one had a black nose. It looked very clownish. It was funny.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I grew up on a farm as a kid. I've had dogs and whatnot my whole life.
So you understand having to take care of pets. It can
Yeah.
be a pain when you travel, though. It can be a little bit of a pain when you're traveling.
Yeah, yeah. It can make it a little more difficult.
Yeah, you got to find someone to babysit, dog sit, cat sit, house sit.
Right. Yeah. Yep. You got any plans for the spring? Are you heading out anywhere?
Yeah, I'm heading out to Miami to give a talk at the business show. So yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm preparing for that. So that's all I'm thinking about this entire month is just heading out to Miami, um, performing at my highest level at the business show, making people laugh, and I just want a couple chuckles. I don't need to be a comedian. I just want a couple chuckles to make people laugh and you know make it memorable and give great value. So that's the goal in Miami, whether it's two people in the audience or whether it's 25. I don't know how many. It's kind of set up as a massive conference. So I don't know how many. That's the one downside to this talk is I don't know how many will be in the audience. So I'm preparing mentally for one person sitting in the chair or, a packed house of 30 people sitting there. It's the business show, Miami, March 5th and March 6th and March 7th, I believe. It might be the 6th and 7th. I could be wrong on the dates. But if you just type in the business show Miami, they also have one in London as well. And I believe Los Angeles. But the business show is coming up in March. And then I'm not sure where I'll be speaking. I try to do about one talk a month. And then the rest I like doing from the comfort of my home. So I like doing virtual talks from my basement. Same place I podcast from. You can get a lot done when you have your own little studio set up. That one, I believe. I don't know if they're selling virtual tickets or not. You may have to go down to Miami. What state are you in? Massachusetts. Okay. Yeah, that's a short flight. Short flight to Florida. So get away from the cold a little bit. It hasn't been too terrible this week, but 2 weeks ago it was brutal. Yeah, yeah, we were in Cancun, my girlfriend and I, 85 degrees for 5 days, 85 degrees every day. We were sweating, and then we came back, and it was like 15 degrees here, 14 degrees. And we're like, oh my God, I got to get out of New York. You probably love the cold though, huh? I love the seasons. I actually do because they make you appreciate the summertime and the spring and the fall. Just the winters can be brutal. So if anything, I would keep this house, give it to one of my kids, but I would become a snowbird in a heartbeat. As soon as soon as I can, I think that's the plan. We'll be going back and forth between either Puerto Rico or Arizona because Arizona, it gets incredibly hot, but I would rather be sweating than shivering.
People figure you can't die in the heat, but the heat actually kills more people. You know, you'd think you'd freeze to death, but
The heat does kill more people. I think what they say is in the summertime, they just kind of stay indoors a little bit more. I don't like when it's really hot out and you go into a place and it's 45 degrees with the AC on. I don't like that. When you're wearing shorts and it frees you out from the AC, it's like some places they keep it at 60 degrees and it's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous. Can we find a happy medium of like, 70? That one thing that we loved about Arizona is that you could hike so many places. Have you been out there?
not to Arizona. No, I've been to almost all the national parks though.
Oh, really?
Love the parks. Yeah,
You're a
for
big
sure.
hiker?
Yeah, yeah,
Big walker?
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, I've only been to a few. We went to the Grand Canyon, we went to Sedona, and we went to Phoenix. So those were a few of the hikes that we did. I think it's called South Mountain, south of Phoenix. There's a beautiful trail there. It's just like an incredible. What was one of the most incredible trails that you've been on that you can remember?
I love Yosemite the best. I went on we had burros and we went like 2 weeks out in the back country and some serious hiking. That was really fun.
Wow, who'd you go with?
That was when I was a kid. I was with my family.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, that was great.
yeah,
Highly recommend for a family vacation.
yes, yes. Where do you access Yosemite from? Because we stayed in Vegas, and I know that there was a national park that was about an hour and a half away. I don't think it was Yosemite though.
There's like a park drive that goes through the middle of it.
I'm looking on the map right now. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you which one I was looking at.
I think Tahoe is a really beautiful area. I've been around there too. I got a buddy that lives in Tahoe. It's really great forests and all out there to visit.
I know a lot of people. My girl had no interest in the Hoover Dam, but I thought that would have been cool to check out. And I know a lot of people drive to the west side of the Grand Canyon from Vegas. So the next time we visit the canyon and we actually hike it, we'll uh, we'll definitely go from. Oh, you know what? I wanted to go to Mojave Desert, and I wanted to go to Death Valley.
My cousin just moved to Palm Springs, actually.
Palm
I guess they're
Springs is the
getting
only
nice
place that
now.
I've been in California.
Okay. You know about that?
I do. I do. Zion National Park.
Yeah, I've probably been to Vegas like 10 times now or something. I keep going back for conferences and stuff.
Wow. What type of conferences?
Some marketing conferences and tech conferences and
That's typically why I went to Vegas. I've been there about a half a dozen times, and it was always for some type of marketing conference. There's so many conference halls and spaces that it's a really great place to hold an event. Easy to fly into and easy to get transportation. Um, I personally I love Vegas for conferences.
I haven't been to Miami though. I guess Miami has some good space there.
Oh, Miami, the weather is just always amazing. You if you do ever go to Miami, go down to Miami Beach, um, and go to Muscle Beach. It's just a wild scene there.
The beach is that way.
Yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. The beach is that way. It's a wild, wild scene. Just people working out on the beach, riding bicycles, and music playing in the background. The bums. It's just a wild, wild scene. I think we'll be in Boston in August, just for a day or so. Yeah, how far are you from the city?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll
Oh,
have to
okay.
meet.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Cool.
we last time we went, watched a comedy show in Boston, and there was a UFC fight that same night. Um, we were gonna go out and watch it at a bar, and I think we ended up just driving back to the room because she was tired, and it's an hour and a half from where we were staying in Rhode Island, and Rhode Island's only an hour and a half away. So that's the plan again when we go to Rhode Island.
Nice. Let me know.
Yeah, we'll do.
Awesome. So I'm interested to hear a little bit more about what your project and all this year, and what you have coming up with your show and all. You want to talk maybe a little more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast is called the Hero Academy Podcast, and that's for first responders and anyone that supports that community. Police officers, firemen, nurses, military, EMS, paramedics, um, everyone that society calls heroes. And I'm careful to not call them heroes once I have them on my show. But anyone that society calls heroes and supports them, I like to bring them on and talk about their side hustle. I like to talk about their story and their career and what they plan on doing next. Uh, that's really what the show is about, and I'm just looking to take it bigger and as big as possible. Find some more sponsors for it. This way, I can do it. I'd like to do a daily show. Right now, it's a weekly show. Um, I have some ideas for taking it daily, where I just have to batch more content. But yeah, I'm also considering YouTube. But YouTube is a lot of work. YouTube is a lot of
Yeah,
work. So
yeah.
you have to have
Well,
a
I mean,
dedicated.
they pay you,
No,
so that's helpful.
yeah, you have to really know what you're doing, and you have to start getting views right away. So a lot of creators don't get paid for first 1 to 2 years.
Well,
So go
mhm.
ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I spoke with one lady. I thought she had a really good thing going. She was at her 500 and something th episode with her podcast, and she uh, had got to the point that her wait list was like, ridiculous, like 2 years out or something. And so she changed it to make it so that way, if you wanted to be on her podcast, you had to write an article for her magazine. And in she was saying in the first year, her magazine got up over 1 million subscribers or something like that. So I thought that was a really great idea to have the one feed the other, and to have the one kind of qualify the other, because then you can kind of build them both like that. And so you might consider some variation on that idea of, when you have a process to kind of intake people, and get their ideas, or
Yeah, I'm definitely focused on building my newsletter this year. I told my assistant that our newsletter is a top priority to get that out there and grow it by 500 people per month is the goal. 500 emails per month, 500 subscribers per month is the goal. And my bandwidth is just I may have to bring on a second person because I just don't have the bandwidth for I'm very excited. I found a booking agent. I found someone to book me live stages. So that kind of takes that off my plate. And I have my assistant producing the podcast. For the most part, he finds the guest and then he edits the episodes and he publishes them. So that takes that off of my plate. Now, the next thing is the coaching. So I have to hire more coaches so that I'm just trying to remove things off of my plate because I have so many plates spinning that you don't want any to drop. So you want to focus on one, you want to zero in your focus. And once you do that, zero in your focus is how you can, make one thing blow up. I'm doing so many things between the books, the podcasting, the speaking. They're all interrelated, but not one single one is the defining path right now.
Mm,
If
right.
that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. The way forward is to work on all of them at once, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
in a
do
similar spot. I'm kind of, I got the same, all the plates in the air, kind of like you.
time box. So I'll work on for the next hour, I'll work on podcasting, and then for the next 25 minutes, I'll work on moving the needle with the book, and then for the next half hour after that, I'll work on some aspect of marketing, like creating the list or video training, LinkedIn marketing. There's so many aspects to marketing that you literally have to zero in on one and just focus on that one specific aspect of marketing. So I while I do want to get into YouTube and I know the value of it, I don't want to overstretch myself. Like I love podcasting. I love having conversations with people, but I definitely don't want to overstretch myself with the YouTube as well. So I and you could tell that I'm a little bit older because I call it the YouTube. The
Yeah.
YouTubes, the internets.
Yeah. You got to be wary of bright shiny object syndrome too. I think I try to not fall into that myself. Got to focus on the bread and butter.
Hey, it's been amazing talking to you. I actually have to run, but I just want to tell your audience if they want to find me, the best place is my website. It's just my name, davidleath.com. So it's DAVID Leath, Leath.com. That's the best place to link up with me. My calendar's in there. If anyone wants a free strategic coaching session on like what type of expert branding business they can start in terms of branding your own name, branding yourself, and marketing yourself. Um, I've done those things. I've created the podcast. I've created the books, and I'm going on tour speaking. So I've done all of those things, and I know how to help people with that as well. And if you want to talk about your idea, I'm always open to it. Um, yeah, after 27 years in law enforcement, I decided it was time to pivot, and but I'm still involved with the same community. So I love this. I love what society calls heroes. Firemen, police officers, nurses. Those are my those are my heart because I know their heart. I know they have a heart of service. So I want to help them when they decide to make their pivot into their next career. I want to help them. So that's where my passion is. But I'll work with anyone that needs help. I'm a very giving person.
That's great. That's great,
Thank
Dave.
you so much, Carl. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, let's catch up again sometime soon.
100%. I love part twos.
Awesome, awesome. All right.